Okay, first thing we got to do is go back to the old Pythagorean theorem, right? We got a right triangle, and I have my sides given. A, B, and C. A and B, isn't that convenient? Those are both legs, and there's my hypotenuse. C is hypotenuse. I hope this is a review that you all remember this. So I need to find what is side B. And A is 8. C is 17. I like to draw a picture and just fill in the parts as I figure them out. So, leg squared plus leg squared equals hypotenuse squared, right? I'll write that down. Leg squared plus leg squared equals hypotenuse squared. Hypotenuse is always the longest side opposite here. This is C is the hypotenuse. Okay, I hope you all remember this, but if you don't, here we go, a little review. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Just remember that C is the hypotenuse. Oh, C squared. Let's go ahead and put that in there. 17 squared. Then you do a little algebra and just solve for B. I want to know what B is, not B squared. So B squared equals, I'm going to subtract 17 squared minus 8 squared. How do I undo square? Take square root. I'll write that down just this time. B squared, the square root of that, that'll give me B, right? That's what I want. Square root of 17 squared minus 8 squared. You can put that right in your calculator. B equals the square root of 17 squared minus 8 squared. Stick that all in your calculator, all right? I'll do it right here. Square root. Oops, on. Square root. 17 squared minus 8 squared equals 15. B equals 15. I'm going to put that on my little diagram up here. 15. Maybe I'll draw it bigger right over here again. Not drawn to scale, but I got the main things. I got the right angle at 8, 17. Okay. And what? Tricky. It wants to know angle B. So this is the angle. Is that on there? Yes. What I want to know all my trig ratios. Trig ratios. I should have labeled it trig ratios, but anyways. So ratio fraction, right? Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Okay. So opposite of angle B is over here, opposite over hypotenuse. 15 over 17. Cosine, adjacent over hypotenuse. Adjacent to B, that means next to, right? Right next to it. 8 over 17. Look at that. Sine and cosine, both less than 1, right? Bigger denominator than numerator, right? Tangent. Tangent can be greater than or less than or equal to 1. Well, opposite tangent is opposite over hypotenuse. Remember I told you it's the slope. It's the slope of this line going this way. It's the slope of this angle. So this is actually my y and this is my x. Opposite over adjacent. 15 over 8. Cotangent is, whoops, sorry guys, I wrote that wrong. Opposite over adjacent. Adjacent. Okay, cotangent is the inverse of tangent. Adjacent over opposite. And so you just flip that one over right there. Okay, there's these two are inverse. Okay, so if you memorize them, sine, cosine, tangent, cotangent, secant, cosecant, the C and the S match up and the C and the S match up. Okay, or inverses of one another. Yeah, C and you wouldn't want the S and the S together. They wouldn't be inverses, right? I don't know. That's the way I remember it. The C and the S are not the same. And the C and the S are not the same. If you match up S and S, you'd be wrong. Okay, so the secant is the hypotenuse divided by the adjacent. Hypotenuse divided by adjacent. and you just take cosine. As long as you did cosine right, you're okay. 17 over 8. So, and the last one, cosecant. So I can draw a little. Here's my inverse here. These are my inverses. Inverse means flip it over, right? That's basically what it means. And we got one more inverse here. That one's going to be hypotenuse over opposite. Cosecant is 17 divided by 15. 17 over 15 sine. 17 over 15. Alright, great. I'm going to do one more little video for 5.3.17. Hope you got all that, guys.